What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down, what's really influencing it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 1.29% pre-market. I wasn't actually intending on doing a pre-market video. I was going to do one after hours, but ultimately, I see a lot of people really wondering why NIO is down, especially given the news. So what's causing so much disruption this morning is this right here. So we already did know the EU and the States haven't really been aligning for tariffs. So there's been a lot of kind of comments stating that they have different plans, different goals, and whatever. So clearly things aren't going according to plan. But this is Trump's just big FU to the EU. So they are putting a 50% tariff as of June the 1st. So that's a big deal. Kind of comical, the fact that the EU for a brief period is going to have a higher tariff than China, but nonetheless, I see some people online saying, hey, this is between the EU and the States. Why on earth is this affecting NIO? And that is actually a very good question. And this is why I wanted to pop on. In reality, the reason why it is affecting NIO is because technically the EU and China are not negotiating their tariffs, their EV tariffs, because they did state that they're going to wait until the EU and the States come to some sort of resolution. So by the EU and the States kind of separating, not really working on things, and clearly things are more so deteriorating, it's that kind of puts the whole EU and China scenario just back of everyone's mind. Nobody's really going to be working on that anytime soon. So in my opinion, that is what the market is rather focusing on associated to NIO. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that though, kind of comical, we also did have this right here. So Trump is threatening Apple with 25% import taxes unless iPhones are made in the States. So that is just very, very dumb if you ask me, but nonetheless, it makes for a very interesting Friday. Aside from that though, NIO did put out one thing, and they just ultimately scheduled their general meeting, and it is slated for June 25th, 2025. There's only one thing on the agenda, and that is right here. So reconfirming or reappointing the accounting firm. So nothing crazy whatsoever. So this is honestly not even worth my time to bring up. Normally, I don't actually even vote on a lot of these things unless it's like a very hot topic type of scenario. But reappointing the accounting firm is not a big concern to me, or pretty much 95% of all the investors out there. There's a couple articles coming out lately about this latest 13Fs, how some institutions have increased their position, how some have reduced, and whatever else. So last couple ones of value, you did have UBS increasing their position 3,900% quarter over quarter. Keep in mind, all of these 13Fs did occur, all the transactions within Q1. So it's not as though that it just happened, it did occur in Q1. You had Jane Street reducing their common stock, increasing their calls and also puts, but their calls were 291% quarter over quarter. You also did have, unfortunately, which was rather interesting, Morgan Stanley reduced their position in Q1 by 14.56%, still, mind you, holding 20 plus million shares. But during that same kind of time frame, you also did have them increase their actual rating. So 2 months ago, you had them give a buy rating, $5.90. So kind of weird how that all somewhat played out, but nonetheless, that's kind of the market. Maybe they just did that just to bring it higher so they can kind of reduce some of their position. I'm not really sure. But as far as this morning, shorts aren't doing anything. 12.82% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 203.95 million shares overall are being shorted. With today being Friday, just take note of the open interest. So at the 350, you have 1,000. And then at the $4 strike price, you had 16,000. So this is why I think over the last couple days, you've had just NIO getting dragged down. And I think it's just because of manipulation, because market makers and shorts don't want NIO to be above that $4 strike price. That way they don't have to cover the 1.6 million shares. So if for whatever reason NIO does move higher, just anticipate shorts to ultimately increase their position just to ensure that it closes below 4. Aside from that, I don't really see shorts being that active today. So with it at 383, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. 392 is going to be the next strong kind of target / resistance, which I don't really see that being touched today. Even yesterday, that was essentially the high, so it bounced off of that general area. Flip side, 380 is going to be the next strong support, so that'll be the line in the sand. So if that does break, then anticipate pretty much 350 to be kind of hit at the end. So let me know your thoughts on NIO in the comments below. In my opinion, I do feel like that news associated to the EU tariffs is just a bluff by Trump, but anything is possible. So if you do believe in NIO bigger picture, then obviously take advantage of these lower prices. But we've seen NIO get suppressed time and time again, a lot of manipulation and whatever else. So it's an interesting stock to hold. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point and bangers. Even I did post this yesterday, signaling by analyzing a lot of the big institutional options that Apple was essentially kind of being hedged. And so big money did see yesterday Apple going down, which is very, very interesting given what just came out. So definitely worthwhile to pop over to my Patreon. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.